Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today I am doing an Ashened deck profile and announcing the giveaway winner for last week's video. Before we get into it though, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, it'll really help me out. Alright, let's just get the giveaway winner out of the way. So let's spin the wheel. All right, congratulations, Egycollector. Just comment down below on this video what you want for your prize, either the playset of Lightning Storms or the playset of Forbidden Droplets. Congrats again. All right, let's get started with the Ashen deck profile. 3 Priestess of the Ashen City. It's pretty standard. You need her because she's, the searcher of the deck. It's pretty self-explanatory, I think. And then Vitos, the Interruption Dragon. It is a 3 of, unfortunately, but I feel like later down the line, Vitos is going to be very important because I think we're going to end up moving. Well, I think, we might move into a format where field spells are going to be very heavily played, and Vitos is going to come in handy a lot, and you don't necessarily need to have any action cards for him. So as long as your opponent has a field spell, he just goes to your opponent's side. So it's pretty helpful and useful. And then 3 Shaman. This one essentially targets 3 pyro monsters that are banished or in your graveyard and shuffles them into the deck. And if you shuffled an Ashen monster, you'll get another field spell, which is really good. There's a reason why I play 3 of this. You'll see it with my hand traps when I get into them. 2 King of the Ashen Cities. I don't think you need more than 2. I mean, I would even do 1. It's just a big defense body. 2 Hero of the Ashend. I might cut this down to 1. I'm not so comfortable with this one in the deck at 2. Yeah, just pretty much destroy a monster on the field, and if it was Vitos, you get to add a field spell. That's pretty much it. But again, it's just a 2600 attack, which is pretty good. And then for free special summon, all of the monsters, so Vitos, can be special summoned if you controlled the Ashen City field spell, which is really good. So it's also a 3 of, and then if this card gets banished, you can, or destroyed by card effects, you can essentially special summon another Ashen monster, which is good. And then if you have another Ashen field spell in your graveyard, you can essentially put it to the bottom and then draw 1, which is really good. So you could just keep recycling it, which is unless they banish it, but you should be fine. Most of the time it's just going to be end up being destroyed. So yeah, free special summon, and then 3 Awakening of Vitos, which is really helpful. Essentially, this is how you can get a free field spell on your side of the field or your opponent's, just to prevent them from evenly matching you or lightning storming you. So that's pretty good. And then you can add a level 5 or higher dark pyro monster from your deck to your hand, which almost always ends up being Vitos, the Interruption Dragon, which is really good. And then for the rest of the turn, you can special summon monsters from the extra deck or deck, except pyro. So keep that in mind. 1 Ashen to Endless Darkness. This is really good and actually really helpful because you can fusion summon during the main phase on your opponent's turn. So let's say you give them Vitos and then you have like 2 pyro monsters, you can go into the boss fusion monster of the deck, and it's a spell and trap board wipe, the monster is anyway, and also Vitos will be sent to the graveyard, so that means that your opponent's side of the field will be destroyed. Just monsters though. And then 1 Extinguishing the Ashened. Essentially, it's like a Foolish Burial. You'll send a dark pyro monster, and then you'll add a level 5 or higher pyro monster from your graveyard, which is really good. And then also the one cool little effect that I almost always forget that it has is you can banish this card, and then you can fusion summon a pyro monster from your hand or field as material using cards from your hand or field. So yeah, it's actually really, really good. I like it. But it's a one of. There's a reason why I play one of. I'll get into it in a minute. Rekindling the Ashen. This is essentially it's a, think of it as a freezing curses or an imperm. Essentially, you're going to place one Ashen card that is banished from your graveyard, and then you're going to put it at the bottom of your main deck, and then you can target one effect monster your opponent controls, negate it to the end of the turn, which is really good. It's a way to shuffle things back into the deck if you need them. And then 3 bonfires. I know, an expensive searcher. Unfortunately, you do need this to search out shaman or priestess, because they are kind of like what I made my deck to revolve around. So just a heads up, it is unfortunate. You do need bonfire. 1 terraforming to search the field spell. I saw someone play it and I was like, maybe it'll work, and it kind of comes in handy a little bit. I might switch it for cross out. I think it might be a little bit better to have cross out, because this deck is kind of vulnerable to hand traps, especially Ash at the right moment most of the time. So cross out might be good. 3 super polys, because you do have super poly targets in the Dexter deck. And also, one thing that I always tend to forget is if you have the boss monster in here, in your opponent activates a card effect, you can send an Ashen card to the graveyard, which will almost always be this one. And then this also has an effect that you can banish a dark pyro monster and this card, and for the turn, everything on your opponent's side of the field becomes pyro. So super poly becomes more and more important in that situation. And then 2 Joels, just hand traps. Joels always come up sometimes, and you can send them out if you don't need them. And then 2 Ash, because Ash is Ash is Ash. 3 shifters, which is what I was saying, like it's really hard to play around the graveyard, because shifters still in the meta, and it's very, very helpful. Well, it's not in the meta, sorry, it's very helpful against meta decks at this point in time. And shifter pretty much wins you the game or buys you turns. And with this deck, because most of the deck can be banished and you'll have a way to recycle them, which is shaman, you can always bring them back that way. But keep in mind, this deck is just made for fun. For fun. And then when called by, I know I have shiny cards, sorry, I end up trading for them, so I don't buy them. So I just get lucky, I get to trade them. So 1 called by, comes in handy sometimes. And then 3 imperms, again, more shiny cards. I did pull 1, traded for 1, and now only bought 1. So just want to put that out there. But yeah, 3 imperms, it hurts almost every deck. And then the extra deck, we're gonna start off with the fusions. So super poly target, mud dragon, breeder plant. Again, these are pretty self-explanatory. 2 embers of the Ashen. You just need 2 pyro monsters. So the good thing is you can super poly, and if you combine it with endless to Ashened, you can essentially make your embers of the Ashened if your opponent has 2 boss monsters that you can't get rid of. So now they become 2 pyro monsters. So you can just fuse off of this, which is really helpful. And also keep in mind that, see if I can put it in focus, if you fusion summon, you can target 1 field spell in your graveyard, add it to your hand, and then at the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's pyro monster, you can destroy that opponent's monster, and if it is your turn, this card can make a second attack. So that's pretty helpful, especially if you have the field spell. Everything on your turn becomes everything on the field on your opponent's side of the field, becomes a pyro, so you can end up making a second attack. So essentially you can attack for 29. And then Vidos, the Dragon of Endless Darkness, which is the boss monster of the deck. This is what I was saying. It's good, just because it can't be destroyed by card effects, and then your opponent can target it with monster effects, which is really, really good. Unfortunately, they can target it with spell traps. And then if this card is fusion summon, that's what I was referring to, is it destroys I can destroy all spells and trap cards that my opponent controls. And then when your opponent activates, this is really important. Don't ever forget about this, because Ashend to Endless is a very important trap card. You do need it in your graveyard to make everything pyro. So if you have Super Volley, it comes very, very much in handy, right? So when your opponent activates a card effect or effect on the field, quick effect, you can send one Ashen card you control to the graveyard, destroy that card. So that's how you get an Ashen to Endless. Yeah, Ashen to Endlessness. So yeah, this is a really good card in the deck. Then we got Garura, because another super poly target. Infernal Flame Banshee, which is really, really useful because it searches, and then if this card gets banished, which is really, really neat, it'll get a power. You get to special summon it back, and it gets a power boost, depending on the amount of pyro monsters that are banished. So, and then number 41, Babushka. You do have about 6 level 4s, so this can come in handy in case you need time to stall, because the deck does kind of brick a lot. So it doesn't help. It helps to stall, and then in case your opponent decides, hey, you know what, I'm just gonna summon as much as I can, especially if you play an Ashened, not an Ashened, the Snake Eyes monster, Snake Eyes deck. Sorry, this can come in handy, or just a deck that special summons from the extra deck a lot. So this is actually really, really helpful. And then one IP, just because trying to make the deck a little bit diverse. And then in case also you need it for SP Little Knight, you can always take this out and put like Nightmare Phoenix. You don't necessarily need SP Little Knight, but it is a meta card. It is very helpful. And then one Striker Azazelia, you do have pure dark monsters, so this is actually really, really helpful. And you do play a decent amount of spells as well, so yeah. And then also one dark, because again you play a lot of darks, and this actually searches for your priestess, so keep that in mind, because she is under 1500, and you can also search shaman because it's under 1500 defense as well. And then the last card, I always play this card, which is Scareclaw Tryhard. It's just my favorite card to play. It sends everything to defense. It's really, really good against Chimera branded, because all they play is fusion. So if you put this sucker on the field, everything goes into defense. They can't do anything. Pretty much you win the game, because it's 3000. What are they going to do? They have to concede because they don't run link monsters and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much the deck profile. Keep in mind, this is a fun deck. It's not very competitive. I've been going 2-2. I haven't topped yet. I'm still working out the kinks. I might add prosperity in it to make it more consistent, so I can search more. But yeah, this is pretty much it. Keep in mind, like I said, fun deck. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and congrats again to Egycollector. If you didn't win, I will be doing another giveaway next month, and it will be Ash in the mix, so don't miss out on it. And like I said, this is just a fun deck profile. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're having an amazing day. I will see you on the next one.